You saw me earlier talking to Ralph. I thought we have special readings today, and he did the right thing. I didn't. So, yeah, after 50 years, I still haven't got it fully down. So, I'm going to keep working at it, though. I promise you. An important thing about today, as we remember, we're going to start off with a heavy note first. The reason why the disciples could not understand about when Jesus would talk to them about the resurrection was the fact from Peter where he said, "You are the Christ, the Son of the living God." So in their mind is this: God cannot die. Are you with me so far? This is important, that God cannot die. So they go through this period of time, starting with Holy Thursday, and they see and know that Jesus was nailed to the cross and dies. Now, in their minds, they contributed to the death of God, and they had no idea how to handle that. No one prior to them or after them could ever claim that they killed God. So in this reading, the woman comes and explains, and notice it's a woman who comes and tells the apostles. They go and see that Jesus is not there. And then, little by little, it's going to take them a while, excuse me, they realize that he has been raised from the dead, that it was not possible to kill God. Are you with me on this? This is really, really important about today. Thank you very much. What angel do you come from? A good angel, of course. This is such a good place to celebrate. So are you with me on this issue? They thought they had killed God. Then the realization came that you can't do that because he was raised. He was raised. He's alive. Then they go through this next transition, which we will hear in the stories that come in the next weeks, is that Jesus is back with them for a few weeks. Now this time, the disciples are going to say to themselves, we got to get this right. We got to get this right now. We fumbled the ball the first time around. The second time around, we're not going to do that. They began to hear more clearly what Jesus had told them. And then he'll take them to the next step, which we'll talk about in the next few weeks. But it's important for us to understand that when we do something wrong, no matter how wrong it is that we can't kill God. That we can't do something that makes it impossible for God to come to us. He is willing under all kinds of circumstances, and that's why the stories about the apostles are detailed and show us the depravity of this group of men who spent 3 long years with Jesus. No other persons had ever experienced that, and yet they fumbled the ball. They didn't do what they were supposed to. But in turn, Jesus shows them, despite your mistake, I will use that to help you become who you are called to be, and that is my servant who will bring the gospel to the entire world. And look what happened. 2,000 some years later, we're talking about these men, this woman, this very day. We keep that story alive and know how true it is. The second point. In there, it talks very clearly about how Jesus felt. And this is important, too, because it shows us that the pain and the suffering of Jesus was real. He felt dejected, misunderstood. He's being punished for saying who he really was and that not being accepted. He lived a life of complete love and compassion, yet he dies in a manner that is saved for the worst of the people who they call criminals. He receives that kind of punishment. Through all of that, it points out to us that the pain and suffering that is in life, Jesus knows every single aspect of it. And the famous words, Eloi, Eloi, lama sabachthani, Father, why have you forgotten me and left me alone? Why do I hurt? There is no response except for Easter Sunday. He was raised. That's how the Father responded. He raised. No longer will we ever have to fear death or mistakes that we make, because all we have to do is to admit them, to ask for forgiveness, amend our lives. Nothing can get in the way of Jesus loving us. That was his point about today. And in being raised from the dead, he shows us that not even death, pain, rejection, suffering can take away the life of God. In a sense, God is here to stay. And he reminds us on this Easter Sunday, no matter what, I am your God. You are my people. He says that to us without exception. Hear that call as we celebrate this wonderful, wonderful day of Easter. No matter what you have done, I am your God. You are my people, who I love unconditionally.